Okay.
What's up, everybody? I'm Kat Bailey, and this is our extended look at Dragon Age the Veilguard's gameplay. I'm here with Bioware lead developers Corinne Busche and John Epler. Corinne, what are we looking at today?
Ooh.
Hey all, so today we're going to be helping out one of our companions, Davrin. This is part of his personal arc to rescue the griffins long thought extinct.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick journey through the lighthouse, your base of operations. We're going to head into the crossroads and make our way to the dark swamps of Hosur wetlands.
Man, dude.
So you're in the lighthouse, as Corinne mentioned. This is your base of operations that you inherited willingly or unwillingly from Solus. It is located in the Fade. It's where Solus was able to start planning his rebellion against the Elven gods millennia ago. Right now, you and your team have occupied it, started to build it, started to shape itself around your personality.
Oh my gosh. This looks amazing.
As Corinne mentioned, we are going to go talk to Davrin, who is located up above.
I really like how each companion has
each of these spaces kind of shapes itself around your companions as they live there, as they basically spend their arcs in those rooms.
And we see here the glowing light above indicates Davrin's ready for us. Let's check in with him.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh.
Something wrong?
Oh.
I got a message. A place called the Cauldron was attacked.
That's some sort of Grey Warden tavern.
It's a secret Warden readout. No idea what goes on there.
Then why are you involved?
It's a big forehead,
because whatever attacked it sounds like the Gloom Howler.
So earlier in Davrin's arc, you were introduced to his nemesis, the Gloom Howler, creature that's been hunting and stalking wardens for quite some time. It's kidnapped a bunch of other griffins. Davrin has been trying to track it down. Now he's got a lead, so we're going to go find this and go track this thing down.
Now, Davrin, he prefers the direct approach. We're going to choose a tough response and see if we can get his approval.
Then let's get rid of it.
Had the same thought.
I do like that, though. I do like how
left of the wardens are still licking their wounds.
Are associated with
so
the
we
personality.
handle this
That's
alone.
pretty good.
Just go to the Cauldron and get the griffins back. You have to promise to behave, boy. Listen to every word I say. Stay out of trouble.
His
don't
voice
do anything dumb,
so good,
and
dude.
don't eat any.
I think we get the point.
I struggle with the modern Canary faces.
Lancet and Remy told me there's a word for the bond between a griffin and Warden moving.
My more issues, I think the forehead's a bit weird.
Until Hassan and I have that, I'm supposed to keep him safe.
I have to say that I find the griffin adorable.
And very importantly, I know this is a question on everyone's mind. Yes, you can pet Hassan.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Well,
and
thank you,
all right, what are we going to be doing next?
He's up for this.
All right, we're going to finish getting this information from Davrin on the Gloom Howler, and we'll be off to Hosur in the crossroads.
Between Warden and Griffin starts by having faith in each other.
Maybe. I suppose you were born for this sort of fight, boy. All talons and temper.
And a sharp tongue to remind you of it.
Man, I just love the cutscene here. It looks amazing, dude. Love the interactions.
So I assume that Hassan can be helpful during the gameplay?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, a lot of Davrin's abilities revolve around calling Hassan in the heat of battle. I in particularly love when you're going against enemies.
You
see Hassan swoop down, especially if it triggers a combo between your companions.
Yeah, I love the Griffin design as well.
As mentioned earlier, one of the interesting, fun things we've done is if you see the lights on in a room, companions have something to say. You can see Harding up in that space there, Nev behind you as well, and Belara. But we have a mission ahead of us. We're going to go find the Gloom Howler if we can, and we're going to go through the crossroads in order to do that. And the crossroads,
I do like
if you played previous Dragon Age games, Trespasser in particular, is a location in the Fade that contains a number of alluvians, allowing you to travel across Thedas in a matter of minutes. But at this point, the crossroads are under assault by the other Elven gods. It's a dangerous place, and we are going to be in for a bit of a fight.
And this alluvian, the Vera Voss, is the central focus point of the lighthouse. This is going to take us to Solus's pocket area of the crossroads, and it might look a little bit different from what you've seen in Trespasser.
Can you tell us a little bit about the role that the crossroads plays in the structure and the gameplay?
Sort of casual nature of this.
Yeah, so the crossroads is, again, it's the area that you spend a lot of time traveling through as you go from area to area. It's also a space that has, at one point, served as Solas's main base of operations and training ground for his rebellion against the Elven gods. So as you go through it, you're going to find fragments of the past, the things that Solas had done previously that are going to give you a bit of insight into Solas as a character, but also into the Elven gods and their motivations.
Oh my god.
Some of my favorite content that you'll find if you go exploring in the Crossroads is these opportunities to actually relive some of the memories Solas had during his rebellion. You actually get to take part in this ancient rebellion.
And here we have the Caretaker, a mysterious spirit that was actually here before Solas was and started to help Solas with his rebellion, but also to turn this into a safe haven for spirits. Again, as I mentioned before, the gods are assaulting the Crossroads, so it's no longer the safe haven it once was, but you're going to work with this Caretaker through quite a large amount of ancillary content to rebuild this into that safe home for these creatures. That if anyone knows Solas, he has a tremendous amount of affection for spirits.
All right, now we're going to get into combat here,
okay.
And this time we're playing as a mage. Now, Mage is one of my favorite classes to play. It's primarily a ranged attacker, and when we're surrounded by swarming Darkspawn, I really have to use a variety of strategies to control the battlefield.
Yeah, I like that, that's nice.
I'm going to use my heavy charged attacks to knock down these ghouls, get them out of the way,
So
and
like
of course, Darkspawn are vulnerable to fire. So we made sure to equip our fire staff, have our fire abilities on hand.
You may notice something about the Darkspawn too, that they look a little bit different than they have previously. And part of that is because Gillinane, who has always been focused on using the Blight as essentially a crafting material, a way to alter life itself, has been enhancing and changing these Darkspawn as part of her army.
Corinne, I noticed that you were doing a combo opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the role that plays in the actual combat?
Yes. So the combat system in this game, the deep strategy behind it is really to manage the various abilities your companions and Rook have in concert. So in this case, Harding has a combo opportunity.
I'm just going to pause here quickly because I just want to talk about this because without them talking. I do like how casual this just overview with the gameplay. I like how it's just like, hey, we're just showing you what's going to happen in normal gameplay, and I think that's very good in general because it means we actually see how the game's going to be played when you play it yourself. You know, we're not really getting this very narrow slice of the game.
With Shred, it's going to apply the sundered effect and deal a high amount of stagger.
Yeah, like that. Like the little mistake that she made, right? Like the Sunder. It's like, I like that, right? It makes it a bit more, hey, they're literally just watching this gameplay and talking over it, which I think is it's nice, you know, it's nice.
Notice I can combo that with Rook's ability Spirit Bomb. That's going to cause a detonation combo.
So, again, one of the things you'll notice about the terrain here is it's very snowy, very mountainous. The Crossroads is a realm that reflects the waking world. In this case, it's an amalgamation of all the...
Also, sorry, pause again. I get what they mean by exploration now, because we're going to explore in a much more open area rather than how Origins in 2 was, where it was kind of not a box or a line, but it kind of felt like that in some times, you know. But this one, we're actually now, you know, hey, this is a much more wider area. We can actually explore a lot more, sort of backtracking as well, which is
real
cool.
World spaces that are tied to it. In the case, we've got Hosur, we've got other mountainous regions. So it's kind of this mix of the swamp. And as you'll see, as we move towards these alluvions...
Oh, dude, there's some banter over here. That's so nice. Do Templars really not have authority over mages in Tevinter? What happens if there's a blood magic?
The
beautiful banter,
around them very clearly reflects
depends on the Templar. It depends on who's bought the loyalty.
On the other side. We're not going to spoiler and tell you exactly what's on the other side, but you maybe make a few guesses based on what you're saying.
Kal Sharok, I imagine. I'd love it to be Kal Sharok.
Do I have to do the Crossroads? Or...
I love it, dude. This is so Dwarven. I love the aesthetic of it.
Can I just fast travel right through?
So it depends how you progress through the game. The first time you go to any of the new regions in the world, you'll traverse the Crossroads to get there. Subsequent times, we of course support fast travel, but it behooves you to actually go back and explore the Crossroads as some of the deepest secrets lie within.
I like that. Sometimes with fast travel, you know, it does kind of suck when you kind of just like get the fast travel unlocked immediately, but you actually have to go there and you can backtrack there if you want. I like that. I like that. I like that.
So now you're in Hosur wetland. It's an area that has been almost completely consumed by the blight. The Grey Wardens have set up an outpost here. Again, if you know anything about the Grey Wardens, they fight the blight anywhere they see it.
This is
and
amazing.
They're noticing something strange is going on here. The
credit sentries are still here. Oh, thank
blight
you.
is not behaving as they expect and do, and as it historically has. So they've set up shop in this place called Lavendel, and you are here to work with them, help them out, and help them find an answer to the questions about the blight that they're asking.
Tell me a little bit more about this area. It looks a little bit like a hub where you can get a lot of quests and things like that.
That's right. So here we find one of the bases of the Grey Wardens. So you'll see they've really built up a small fighting force here to hold off the Darkspawn. What's more, the Grey Wardens are a faction we're going to be working with throughout the game. We've got Holden, one of the Grey Warden quartermasters. We're actually going to upgrade his shop and see what items he has in store for us, see if maybe it gives us an edge in combat.
Okay, so like materials you get can also upgrade like things as well. And also it seems like you have like a like a reputation system. That's interesting. I like that. I like that. I like that.
And the Grey Wardens, much like the other factions, they understand the stakes of the gods being out. They want to help you, but you need to help them first. They have, again, as Corinne mentioned, they're holding off the Darkspawn here. They have other priorities, so getting them more powerful allows them to more meaningfully contribute to your fight against the Elven God.
Oh, dude, look at this. Oh, this is amazing looking, dude. I love this aesthetic.
All right, so we're heading out of the Grey Warden Fortress into the small town of Lavendel.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this used to be a beautiful place full of life, flowers, and you can see what effect the blight has had. But the residents are still here. They're trying to make the most of their lives, and you can see there's plenty of opportunities to help them. In fact, we're
Jeffrey Natal says this looks like Diablo 3 shop. I mean, yeah, it does, right? I think that's more the UI design rather than the it's more the UI design rather than the actual like mechanics at work, you know? Because like Dragon Age did have like itemized loot that was in varying levels of like good or bad, right? It's just they color coded it now, you know. And as or do you probably mean like the upgrade system? If it's the upgrade system, then like I can get that as well, Jeffrey. But yeah, but I think it's fine though. I do kind of wish we were able to like talk to them more in depth, you know. Upgrade. Okay, that's what you mean. Yeah, then I get what you mean, Jeffrey. Like a bit of a Diablo type of thing, which I don't think is necessarily bad. I think it like causes the player to like, hey, I want better stuff and better items, and let me actually like do it, you know, which I think is fine. But I do get that. It kind of does feel a bit gamey in a way.
I'm going to quickly check in with Finn the Physician and see what he has in store for us.
So Flynn, again, one of the focuses of this game is characters, not causes.
I've been busy with patients, but I'm short on medical supplies. My mentor, Oscar, he should have some. He has a cabin outside the village. If you're out there, tell him you saw Flynn, and they could use his help.
And Flynn is a warden who you will do quests with. We wanted to make sure that the side content of Dragon Age: The Veilguard felt as meaningful and
I do wonder if we'd be able to talk to like NPCs during quests, like that one, like if we could like ask questions or stuff. I do wonder if we could do that, at least like for some quests. Like for it's fine if it's like not all of them, but like I would like to talk to the
overall conflict of the game as anything else you do. We don't want you to just go off and do random tasks. Everything needs to feel meaningful, either contributing to your fight against the gods or contributing to the growth of your companions and your...
I think one way, and I think they're accomplishing this very well, is that the presentation of the game definitely does contribute to the feeling of like, hey, you're actually like doing something and not just doing like monotonous tasks, right? Because one of the things that I think makes like Dragon Age Inquisition's tasks feel a lot more harder to do is the lack of presentation, right? Like the floaty camera and whatnot. But these sort of like camera angles and whatnot makes it feel a lot more like immersive and you're in it, you know?
The factions that you need at your side to stop the gods.
You look a bit worried.
We're not sure where some of our wardens are, Beckett and a few others. We're supposed to check in. We need to look out for each other more than ever. It's just...
Also, just to comment here, look at this warden armor, dude. I absolutely love the design, okay? I love the sort of like symbology, like cloth over here, the chest plate here. It looks so amazing.
They took Weishaupt hard, and I hope they're okay.
All right, so we picked up a couple of quests in Lavendel, but we're here to help Davrin. So we're gonna make our way through the perils of Hosburg and
also,
try to
dude,
get to
look at this, dude. Oh my gosh.
this
some, like, bloody
warden
flesh
fortress
orbs, okay?
of the cauldron.
Looks amazing. Oh.
Seeing a lot of kind of organic matter. I suppose that's the blight.
Absolutely. So the blight at this point, as mentioned before, the wardens understand it's changed. It's become a lot more organic, a lot more alive. You know, back in Dragon Age 2, Inquisition, Origins, the blight, while it was a slow-moving wall, it didn't have this almost sentience, this almost thought behind it. And obviously we've talked about how the gods that are out are blighted. That probably has something to do with it, and it's made this area far more dangerous than it would have been before.
And you might notice as we get into combat with some of these Darkspawn that they do look a little bit different than before, and that's very intentional. Gillenane, the god of monsters, she uses blight like a medium to sculpt and warp the Darkspawn to do her bidding, to suit her purposes.
So right now you'll see...
Okay, it is interesting they repeated that again, because John Epler did say, like, yeah, the Gillenane, like, changes and reshapes these things. But I do like that they say it again, because, like, I do think it is important to sort of establish that these aren't, like, the new canon designs and previous designs have been retconned. These are just, like, different versions of them, right? Which I think is important.
A couple of Hurlocks, one with some pretty...
I do hope we'll see some Genlocks, though. That'd be cool.
Disgusting growth on its back. Again, the idea...
Oh, and also, just to tell any of you guys, if any of you guys, like, have anything to comment on the video, then, like, feel free to comment, you know?
The idea that the Darkspawn and the Blight is an organic weapon. They're not just coming out...
Also, I just love this mage gameplay here, okay? The sort of, like, floating thing is really cool.
And, you know, making swords, making armor. They're using the Blight to augment themselves so they can more effectively defeat you and also give the gods the world that they desire.
All right, now I'm actually...
Mage can actually fight now. Yeah, Mage can... I think... Well, it's more like Mage can actually be cool now, right? Because the only time the Mage was cool in Dragon Age Tea Time is during Dragon Age 2. And, like, that's it. Dragon Age Inquisition had some, like, cool, like, spells, and the Knight Enchanter was pretty cool. Like, everything else is like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, you kind of just, like, hit, and you don't even get to use your staff as, like, a blunt weapon, you know?
Actually going to switch to my orb and dagger on the mage, and those of you that were fans of the Knight Enchanter in Dragon Age Inquisition, you might feel right at home with this. This is a more melee focused, more agile version of the mage.
Tea Time says, like this is the stuff Hawk Mage was doing, and now we got that. Yeah, right. You know, we can actually, like, do this, which I think is, like, cool for mages, because mages are supposed to be these, like, very powerful things. And having them, like, look cool, I think is a very good... It makes the, like, fantasy of the mage in the world a lot more real, you know? Because mages are supposed to be very powerful, but when you see them just, like... like, shoving their staff in front of you, it's like, it's not that cool, you know?
One of the main mechanics here is you can use this elemental orb to apply stacks of elemental damage to the enemy, and then unleash them with your dagger to detonate them.
So, again...
I do want to mention again that I do like how very casual this like gameplay showcase is, you know? Like, I can imagine a player, just a random player, just like doing these little mistakes, okay, nearly dying over there. Like, they never actually die, but they do some dumb stuff, you know, and I think that's very cool.
We're in, you'll notice that there are blight pools.
Also, I do want to ask, like, any of you, what do you think of the environment that they're in, with all these, like, flesh bags and whatnot? I think it's pretty cool.
The Darkspawn aren't just coming out of nowhere. The blight is spawning them. Again, part of Gillenane's attempt to turn this into an army for the gods is to use these Darkspawn, not just...
And it's interesting John Epler says gods there, because, like, what does that mean then? Like, is it more than Elgranon and Gillenane? Or, like, the other ones there as well? Like, that's very interesting. Approver Singh says, finally a worthy gameplay interview. Yeah, right. Like, this is pretty cool.
Again, whereas you have the Venatori and the Antom, one case representing magical power, in the other case representing physical strength, the Darkspawn are representing overwhelming force.
That was a pretty clutch heal.
Okay, that's interesting. So the Venatori are going to be a different faction fighting against us. I like that. I like that.
Earlier, by the way.
Oh, and look at this, dude. I love the fucking hand. Just like, it's cool, dude.
We've talked at length before that our fans have asked us, where is the healing magic? Can you bring it back? And Nev in this game, happy to oblige with a kit of healing spells.
Okay. I think that's nice then. Like, okay, so let me say this. Okay, so I think one of my things that I like a lot about Dragon Age is how a lot of the mechanics are representative in the world, actually, right? Like, the sort of symmetrical nature of Dragon Age Origins is really cool, you know? What the enemies have is what you have as a player, you know? And it's nice to see that sort of representation in-game. Even if we ourselves can't do that, I do like that Nev can, like, actually use healing magic, you know? Because it does, like, kind of question, like, hey, where's the healing magic, you know? Like, did it go away? Did it not go away? It's still there, but, like, it's nice to have a confirmation that, like, yeah, it still exists, you know? And it'll still be, like, used in reference within the game. Though it would have been nice if we could also do healing magic as well.
So one of the interesting things that I love about our companions is each of them, their abilities, the way that they're built, they're very thematically appropriate to the character. They're very focused on making sure that the gameplay...
And that's a nice sign, though. That's a nice sign that the companions are built for their gameplay. And that does, like, take away from, like, some of the aspects that Origins had, which is we had a sort of... companions had all the... items and abilities and, you know, functions as any character in the game, but having them so, like, tailor made, their abilities and stuff, makes it feel like, hey, we actually the companions and what they do are tailored to them and are made for them. It can tell a story through their abilities and what they do and the options they have, and I really appreciate that, you know. T-Time says, wait, we won't be able to learn healing spells if we decide to play a mage with a rogue and a warrior in our party to frontline. No. If I go back here, T-Time, we can just listen to this again.
That our fans have asked us, where is the healing magic? Can you bring it back? And Nev in this game, happy to oblige with a kit of healing spells.
So obviously that doesn't mean that we won't be able to use healing magic, but, like, when Corny says, hey, we're happy to oblige, Nev has some healing magic, I'm not sure if that's we can have it or if that's just a Nev exclusive thing. I think it would be cool if it's, like, a thing that we can all use, you know?
To the character, they're very focused on...
Also, I just like in the background as this thing is happening, like, it's just, oh, here the companions are
making
just
sure
talking,
that the gameplay and the narrative are as closely aligned as possible. In the case of...
Okay, I like this, though. As odd as this may be, I do like just these inventive ways of traveling around, you know?
Versus Blar, versus Amrik, our Mage.
Also, it's very funny that, hey, Rook's gonna go there, right? And then he just has to wait. Just wait patiently, you know? Like, oh, I wonder when they're gonna get here, you know?
Each of them has a healing ability that is thematically...
Wait, hold on.
Are as closely aligned as possible. In the case of Nev versus Blar versus Amrik, our mages, each of
Annabelle Ashdown says, just watch the video myself, it's so exciting. Yeah, I mean, I am, like, behind, like, it's substantially, the video's already finished, you know, but I'm just, like, pausing constantly, and so, you know, it's cool, though, huh?
A healing ability that is thematically appropriate to them. It makes sense when you know them as a character.
Yeah, and I think that's nice, though. Like, each of them have, like, thematic abilities.
Watching you play, I'm struck by sort of the size and the scope of this particular area. It seems like there's a lot of exploration.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? Like, just to comment on it, like, it's not open world, I think, but it's a lot more open than Dragon Age 2 or Origins, right? Like, I can it feels... And something that I've been looking forward to for this, like, game, or like, if Bioware ever did, like, an open world thing, I wanted them to do something more, like, wide linear, right? It's this idea where you have a very open space, but this open space is very focused, you know? Like, you have a direction you're going to, but you have, like, paths and branches. It's something like they did with Empress de Lune, where they were able to, how do you say, they were able to make the assault on the Red Templars a lot more like weighty and thematic, because hey, you're going against them, you're building the Inquisition's force, you're building like momentum to go against them and their keep, but you still have like paths to go around, you know, to explore, to do quests and whatnot, which I think is like very important, you know. So I'm glad to maybe like see this sort of idea
Exploration that I can be doing right here.
That was really one of our goals with these areas. Of course, we are a mission-based game, but we really emphasize player autonomy. You can revisit these spaces. They're full of secrets, puzzles, some pretty incredible bosses and treasure. And of course, as we saw earlier in Lavendel, some really narratively rich side quests.
One thing that's interesting is you'll find we're going on a quest for Davern, but Davern is not currently in our party. That's because Davern has gone ahead of us and is waiting for us at...
Oh, okay, that's interesting then.
The cauldron. This is, again, we want the followers, the companions, to feel like they have autonomy, and while they won't complete the quest on their own, they will go ahead and get things ready. So when you get there, you can have a...
Okay, so that's how we get 3 companions. It's like during companion quests we'll be able to have like an additional companion, because they'll be there regardless. It's just, okay, I think that's nice. I think that's nice.
Talk to them, you'll have a conversation with them, and it feels like they're as invested in the success of their journey, their stories, as you are.
This looks like a pretty contiguous zone, is that right?
It is, yes. So it's full of branching paths, different areas to explore, and what I love is the more content you do in the area, the more shortcuts you're going to discover. You're really going to have a lot more flexibility.
Something to just say, because I think it is important to mention. For those who don't know, Corinne, Busche and John Epler played Elden Ring, right? And why I think this is very important to mention is because they absolutely loved Elden Ring. They absolutely love From Software, right? They love the designs. So I wonder how much of the open like world and whatnot is influenced by those games. I'm not saying this is an open world, because I don't think it is. But that the sort of pathways opening, like new paths opening up, backtracking and stuff like that, is maybe influenced by From Software. I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but like that's something I've been thinking a while of. How is you know, this influenced, like how are their experience with From Software influencing Dav?
Flexibility in how you navigate between your remaining missions and quests.
Well, I think something really interesting too about the way that our team has built these spaces is there's the idea of each space has its own story to tell. And while those quests, you know, we talked earlier about those quests and side quests being narratively relevant, they also contribute to a more of a meta story about the space itself. So in the case of Hosur, we talked about how this is an area surrounded by blight, and you're kind of getting to the center of what exactly is going on in Hosur and Lavendel, and these quests that you do and the content Corinne is currently engaged in helps to tell that story.
Which I think is good, though. Take him out.
All right. We can see our companions are up here attacking this Darkspawn on their own. Let's give them a quick hand.
Andy, this is absolutely wonderful. I absolutely like the gameplay so far.
All
Nice.
right. And I love positional gameplay, making use of the environment to your advantage.
And I just saw that you could do a takedown move, so it's kind of a finishing move.
Yeah, I wonder how takedowns would work with mages, though. Because, like, mages have, like, staffs, orbs, and, like, the spellblade. I think the spellblade would be the obvious one, but, like, I wonder how orbs and staffs would work.
You can. Now, in this particular build, I'm really focused on using necromantic energies to siphon life force. But if I, for instance, wanted to go the stagger route, I could go a full takedown build if I like. It's a really
okay, that's
powerful,
like
heavy-hitting style of gameplay.
All right. So you'll notice Davern is waiting for us. So let's go see what he has to say. The sun flies in.
Yeah, a bad day at the cauldron.
Oh,
What
voice
could
acting,
do
dude.
that?
What have they been hiding inside?
Also, I love his armor, dude. It looks amazing.
So something toward...
Sorry, I gotta point out, this forehead, my guy. This forehead. I hope we... Yeah.
or through the gate, that's probably not great. Looks like we should probably get moving.
We won't find out standing around here.
Be ready for anything.
Oh, that's interesting. Where's Harding?
So because we don't have Davin in our party, he's going to move ahead and wait for us while we bring
Oh, Harding's still there. Okay, that's interesting.
Nav
So we do
and
have three
Harding
companions.
along
Funny
to
that.
clear a path for ourselves to find Davin and get to where he is.
Can you talk a little bit about how Nev and Harding sort of synergize during the combat?
Yeah, so Nev and Harding, Nev is a mage, Harding is a rogue, and each of the classes, and you can build a party entirely of one class if you want, but the idea is that the classes synergize and they can set up and detonate each other's abilities in a very interesting way. Now, because you have a lot of freedom in how you build your character, you can, again, as said, you can have all rogue party, all mage party, all warrior party, it still works. But in this case, Nev and Harding are very effective at setting up and detonating, in this case, as Corinne's going to show.
So we're in danger here, and this is really what I love about the tactical layer of combat. If you get in that clutch situation where you've got this devastating incoming attack, great time to pause gameplay, weigh your options, and in this case, I'm going to go back to our combo here and see if I can just quickly get out of the way. All right.
Like that.
You
No,
can
yeah, it's
see I've
definitely a lot more like of a melee Mass Effect, you know, which I appreciate, you know.
applied siphoning to these enemies, so I'm actually going to be leeching their health when I use my Mage Beam.
Just
Now
kind of
you'll notice
eating,
there's
you know?
blight boils throughout the area, and that's part of our philosophy on the combat encounters. If I don't destroy these blight boils, ghouls are going to continue to emerge. So I'm really focused on what targets do I take down first.
I wonder where the genlocks are though, because we've seen a lot of Hurlocks and there's like spear throwing guys and ogres, but we haven't seen any genlocks, you know. I wonder
Enemies
where
a
they're
little
going to
bit
come in.
weaker. I think I'm going to have my companions focus on them while I deal with this grenadier that's given me some problem.
Yeah, I will say, and that's I know I'm not on the stick. Corinne is much better at this game than I am, and this
You say that?
Well, most of the
You say that, you know, my guy.
time, yes, 100%. But each enemy, again, really leaning into the organic. What I love about the Grenadiers is they basically rip off pieces of themselves and throw them at you, which explode as blight. And again, really leaning to the idea that the blight is organic and disgusting.
One thing that I'm noticing is that the combat encounters can get pretty intense. You end up fighting a lot of different enemies. You can absolutely die if you're not careful.
Yes, and this, as we mentioned earlier, this is well into the game. So combat counters have really ramped up. And it really shows the importance of positioning, using your companions wisely, and looking for those synergies and combos.
Oh my gosh. You fucking died, dude.
Now, this is interesting. We just went down. We've built our companions to be able to come to our aid. So we're actually going to use a revive here. And Nev to the rescue.
And as Corinne mentioned, this is later in the game, and Hosur itself is what I would consider a
my
later
word,
game
dude.
area, and the encounter is a little bit more challenging. It's a more dangerous space. This shows up in the encounter, but it also shows up in the visuals, the storytelling here. This is a place that you don't want to be. You don't want to be in Hosberg. It is full of Darkspawn, full of blight, and
So just
generally
to appreciate it, like, look at this dude. I absolutely love just the tendrils, just like grabbing everything and just like infecting everything, you know. I gotta say the environment design for this game is like absolutely like top notch, you know. Like when I think of, you know, a Darkspawn sort of like infant station, right? This is normally what I think of, right? Because in Origins we do see some like blood and gore and stuff like that. And with the Broodmother, we do see like flesh like grown all over the place, you know. And this is what I imagine like the height of like the first blight was. They were just like kilometers of fields just covered in flesh, you know. And like that like imagery is like so well done in Veilguard, it seems. And I absolutely love this, you know. Especially like because like the contrast with the ruins of like Grey Warden like bases and fortresses, like with the Darkspawn flesh just like coming all over the place, you know.
place to be.
Well, we'll be able to explore more of the cauldron when Dragon Age: The Veilguard comes out on October 31st. In the meantime, we are going to be continuing on with our IGN First coverage of Dragon Age for the rest of September. And for everything that's great about games and RPGs, keep it locked on IGN.
And I appreciate that we don't actually get to see like Davrin's like loyalty quest or like companion quest. I do think that's nice though. Thoughts, everyone? What do you think of the gameplay trailer? John Epler and Corinne Busche just like chatting about. I'll give like my opinion. I gotta say, like, the first sort of idea I have is like not excited, more like an understanding, right? Because obviously like the previous trailers, right, were a lot more like bombastic, exciting, the music was flaring and whatnot, but this was a lot more of a simpler, game. We were just like exploring it, going through, and just like playing the game almost. We didn't have the controllers in our hands, but it was done in such a like how a player would play this, that I think it's like in that feeling, because when you play something, it's not always gonna be like high highs, Like, what do you all think of it? It was good. No, yeah, I think it was also really good, I think it was also really good, Jeffrey. Still getting it regardless of the negativity. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. I imagine, like, okay, and one thing I might agree with, the forehead. Like, I don't think it's bad, but, like, I do hope we'll be able to, like, change this, just a bit, Just a bit. Because I do think it would be nice to have, like, the sort of design of this to be a bit more like similar to like previous games. But out of the way, I think we can just like maybe just go through a few things, just like see how it is. Like the lighthouse just looks absolutely amazing, I absolutely like the Annabelle Ashtown says, I'm only worried I might not end up liking the facial animation so much. I mean, I think the facial animations look fine, my only issue, I guess, with this sort of like interaction
with them.
Got a message. A place called the Cauldron was attacked.
That's some sort of Grey Warden tavern.
It's a secret warden readout. No idea.
Like, I think it's fine, I think the only issue here is like, the Canari's face, The forehead is very big,
Are you involved?
Because whatever.
The one thing I do appreciate though from this as well is that I do like how we're not actually going to see like Davrin's quest, like I think something that I can understand some people feeling is that Bioware is like showing a substantial amount of like content, and like spoilerly content as well, like with the gameplay showcase of the high level warrior gameplay. It was just like, oh yeah, dude, by the by, Gillanon and her archdemon rocking up, and it's like, oh okay. Like, sure, you didn't have to do that, but they did it anyways, and it feels like weird how they're given so much, So I like and I appreciate it that they don't actually show Davrin's like quest and all the context of the quest, beyond like he's trying to help Griffins come back and stuff, Also, I do like, again, like I think the dialogue wheel is quite nice here. I do want to see like just the dialogue wheel in a sort of like conversational aspect where we're able to ask questions. Because that'd be nice. Also, over here, Asan, beautiful little baby boy, okay? I love his eyes. I love his ears. He just looks amazing, dude. Amazing. So just like, oh, look at Davrin's room, dude. Davrin's room just like looks amazing, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. I love it. Oh man, dude.
As Corinne mentioned earlier, one of the interesting, fun things we've done is if you see the lights on in a room, companions have something to say. You can.
Because like I like the idea that it's sort of a naturalistic way of indicating the companions has something to say, you know? Because one of the big things, issue with like companions in video games in general and like Bioware games is that you don't really know when companions are going to, you know, talk to you, right? The only thing you really know is that, hey, oh, that was weird. Was that, hey, the companions you're chatting to, you just have to keep coming back to them over and over again, and it kind of feels a bit like unnatural in a way, because when you keep going back and back and back and nothing really says, and they don't really say anything, it does feel a bit like, you know, they're not real in a way, which can suck. But like I like the idea of, and especially because like you can say you can just have a notification on which indicates the companions is like ready to talk, but I do think having this more naturalistic way makes it feel like, oh, the companions has something to talk, and you just go talk to them, you know.
See Harding up in that space there. Nev.
Though I do wonder if this thing will light up with just like quests, or like when the companions have new dialogue in general.
Behind you as well, and Belara. But we have a mission ahead of us. We're going to go find the Gloom Howler if we can, and we're going to go through the crossroads in order to do that. And the crossroads.
Also, what's interesting with the crossroads is that like I like how the crossroads are also like a bit of an open, I guess an open area is the best description for it, wide linear. Man, dude, it looks amazing.
Things that Solus had,
especially because the crossroads are like a weird in between the fade and the real world, you know. Oh, and I love like how the path to either like direction, you can just see it lined with the iconography of that path, you know. Like this is the Grey Warden path, you know. Oh, I absolutely love it, you know. And also I like the idea that is they're
also to turn this into a safe haven for spirits. Again, as I mentioned before, the gods are assaulting the crossroads, so it's no longer the safe haven it once was. But you're going to work with this caretaker through quite a large amount of ancillary content to rebuild it.
Yeah, so like we're going to rebuild it, but also this is like, hey, this was like a haven for spirits, which I think is interesting because that implies a lot of like how Solus and his relationship to the other gods, you know. I think it's pretty cool. And then also like rebuilding the crossroads and the lighthouse, I think that's nice. Dragon Age, like Skyhold and like Vigil's Keep are really cool like castles, and it's nice to rebuild them, and it's always cool and fun to like build upon and upgrade a home base that you have, you know.
This into that.
Oh yeah, and then I think they say here.
And this time we're playing as a mage. Now, and when we're surrounded by swarming, have to use a variety of control the battle to knock down these ghouls. Sure to equip our fire staff, have our fire.
Is because Gillinane
over here.
A little bit different. They have to it that they
on hand.
You may notice something about the Darkspawn too, that they look a little bit different than they have previously, and part of that is because Gillinane, who has always been focused on using the blight as essentially a crafting material, a way to alter life itself, has been enhancing and changing these Darkspawn as part of her army.
Which I think is like very important to like, because like a question that I had for a while, at least for the new Darkspawn designs, is this like new Darkspawn designs that like retcon previous designs, or are these like like designs that are specific to like Gillinan and what she did, you know? And I'm glad to like understand like these are like new Darkspawn designs from Gillinan and not really like these are the new Darkspawn designs for all of them, you know? I do hope we could see like older Darkspawn designs to see like a compare and contrast, because I think that'd be really cool. Additionally, what's very interesting is that like Gillinan uses it to make life. I'm not sure if that's saying like all life comes from the blight in a way, or if it's more saying that like, hey, I sure approve as Signa says, I sure wish you get enough subscriptions and view range so I can super chat you, since you have been quite underrated. Oh, thank you, Approva. Like that's very kind of you to say, you know. Like for me to get like a super chat, I would have to get like 500 subscribers, you know. Which like I mean I'm gonna get there eventually, but like man, it's cool though. Anyways, back to what I was just gonna say, like with the blight, that's implying that like all the blights come, like all life comes from blights, or is this like specifically Gillilan saying that like the blight is, or like saying that the blight is like a form of creation, you know? It's interesting either way. Like the answers, or like thinking about the question is interesting either way.
Corinne, I noticed that you were doing a combo opportunity.
Yeah, and let's just talk about the mage gameplay just for a moment here. I gotta say, obviously in the NVIDIA one, it was a lot more like bombastic, a lot more exciting, because that was like a very like 40-second clip. You know, it was quick, it was to the point, there wasn't a lot of like slack time. But for this one, we can see like what gameplay would look like just in general, and I absolutely just, I don't know, I appreciate it. You know, as I said before, like during this, I appreciate how casual this is. You know, it's kind of like the developers literally just like gave us a copy and just watched our shoulders and like, hey, play the game. And it's like, oh, cool game, you know. And like, I think some people, because I'm more anticipating some criticism, some people may say this looks boring or stuff. I think this is just like how gameplay works in general, right? Gameplay looks very exciting and fun when you have a like a reel, you know, when it's all like, yeah, let's quickly do quick shots, quick cuts, and all that kind of things, makes it look exciting and fun. Like all gameplay kind of looks like that to an extent, right? When you're revealing it, but when you actually play the gameplay, few games actually have that feeling. You know, a lot of it is just like you playing the game. You know, Approver Singer says Blight was a creation. Solus hinted that with his talk to Blackwall. What if all the archdemons dies? I mean, yeah, right. I remember when Solus said about like the Blight was something like created. Which is obviously, I think, true from like all other lore perspectives, because the maker, like if we take it from a Chantry perspective, the maker made the blight, you know, it's weird and strange, but like the maker didn't necessarily make the blight, but it was sort of caused by him, or like it involved him heavily, you know, and so because of that, I think, how do you say, and because of that, you know, it could be like a sort of form of creation as well. Though I do think that's like maybe being a bit, not a stretch, but like not what most people would think a creation is, which I don't think is bad. And it's just to continue with this part. I just like how casual this is, you know, and also I just like how the mage gameplay looks in general. It's like when you see it, right? It's like, oh, okay, like look at that. Okay, cool. You see little dashes. That's really cool. And like it just looks a lot more like active and in play, you know. Mage is in like general very immobile throughout Dragon Age. Dragon Age Inquisition had the like frost spell where you could like run away, like where you could dash really quickly. But in this one you feel a lot more like active and engaged in combat, instead of just like, instead of like you're here, enemies here, you have to now run away all off the screen, you know. Which I like this though. Oh, and also the teases, the fucking teases, Corny Busche and John Epler are. Look at this, dude.
And as you'll see, as we move towards these Illuvians, the architecture around them very clearly reflects what's on the other side. We're not going to spoiler and tell you exactly what's on the other side, but
yeah, we're not going to tell you what's exactly under the other side. Okay, Cal Sharrock sided over here. Okay, and man, I hope this is Cal Sharrock. Okay, I am a dwarf man. I love dwarves so much, dude. And I would absolutely adore if we got to see Cal Sharrock, okay? Especially because the way this like sort of golden lyrium infused like archway is. This looks absolutely phenomenal, dude.
And as you'll see,
dude,
move towards
this is
these
so
Illuvians,
like nostalgic for me. Look at this. It's like we're playing Origins again, my guy. Let's take a Dragon Age Origins dwarf statue. It's like we're playing Origins again. Come on. Let's not that. Oh. It's like we're playing Origins again, okay? I don't even think that. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Here's this. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of changes between these two. I mean, that's cool, but for me, you know, like I absolutely love this sort of like dwarven architecture, you know? It looks absolutely beautiful. Reprover Signa says, yep, also Darkspawn are a dangerous force when led by an archdemon, and if we're slain, they are retreat back to the deep roads, and so I wish the Dwarven Empire would be revisited. Yeah, I also wish the Dwarven Empire would be revisited, right? Because like I don't know, man. Like, look at this, dude. Like like my idea, at least for when the Blights are over, right? It'd be so cool to just like get stories where the dwarves are like somberly reclaiming the deep roads. Like it's all empty, no one's there, and all they see is the collapsed tunnels, taigs, buildings, architecture, and scrolls of their lost empire, and they're just like collecting it, repairing it, and like expanding again. You know, like this is the sort of like thing I kind of wish we see when the like Darkspawn are all gone. You know, if they're all gone. But anyways, besides John Epler and Corny Bush like being fucking teases, okay. I so hope this is like, I so desperately hope this is Kalshrog, dude. My word, I so desperately hope it was Kalshrog. Also, let's just,
Wardens, they fight the blight anywhere they see it, and they're noticing something strange is going on.
It looks amazing. Also, I like the fact that the codex entries are still back. Like that's. I remember David Gator said something saying that like most players do not bother reading the codex entries because like, you know, most players don't want to read it, you know. Mass Effect I think had codex entries where people read a lot more, but that's because the primary codex entries were read by like a person, so it's much more easier to engage with. But it's nice that they have it here. Approver Signa says only time they stayed after killing an archdemon was because of the civil war between the architect and mother. However, you end they go back. Makes me question why the deep roads why always deep roads, why they are all. Oh yeah, no, I get you. I also, just to build on that, like a point of that, like I wonder what the architects here, you know, and like the magisters in general, right? Because we've only seen like Corypheus and the architect, but there are 7 like magisters, you know, 1 for each of the old gods, you know. So like I wonder how they're gonna play a role within this game, you know, because like I imagine since the Gillenon still like is gonna control a lot of the Darkspawn, I wonder how the blight infused magisters are gonna be involved, you know, if we're gonna have to maybe fight them or not. Like that'd be interesting, you know. It'd be interesting to see like if the architect is the only magister who's immune to Gillenon because of his experiments with the blight, you know. I think that'd be pretty cool, you know. Anyways, codex entries being here, pretty cool. I love this. An improved blight. Interesting indeed. Oh, dude. Oh, gosh, let me gawk at this, dude. Oh my gosh, dude.
As they expect and do.
Gorgeous, man. Oh, also, I hope Bioware or IGN releases like gameplay of this without the commentary, because it's not bad, but I would definitely like to just like experience this without the commentary.
In this place called Lavendel, and you are here to work with them, help them out, and help them find an answer to the questions about the blight.
Yeah, so also I just wanted to quickly check this shop over here. Where is it? Okay, over here it is. There it is. Just to examine some of the bits and pieces.
And we're going to be working with throughout the game. We've got Holden, one of the
so like obviously
Grey Warden quartermasters. We're actually going to upgrade his shop and see what items he has in store for us. His shop and see what items he has in store for us. See
okay,
if maybe...
I think the upgrading is fine. You know, like mechanically, I think it's fine. I do hope that they explain it as in like a bit of a gameplay, like a gameplay interacting with like story and lore and world kind of way of like, hey, if you get me some of these stuff, I'll be able to like improve the quality of my items or get more items, you know.
It gives us an edge in combat.
And the Grey War is much like the other.
Because I want to see if there's like lore descriptions for this thing. Let me go to widescreen. Okay, so Griffin's talent, above all else, a warden's oath is to cut down Darkspawn. This fearsome blade even makes the calling look easy. Nice. And then you have Griffin's talent over here. Okay, cool. So it's like same weapon, different stats. That's cool.
Their factions, they understand the stakes of the gods being out. They want to help you, but you need to help them first.
Ephemeral's Ash. Okay. Favored by... Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Current item will become... Huh. Okay, you can upgrade these... Okay. That's interesting. I like that. I think that's cool. Favored by apprentice warden mages, this focus is hewn from a charred knot of Ferelden oak. Ooh.
They have, again, as Corinne mentioned, they're holding off the Darkspawn here.
So you could upgrade the weapons as well.
They have other priorities.
That's interesting.
So getting them more powerful.
Also, dude. Oh, man, dude. I love this, dude.
All right, so we're heading out of the Grey Warden Fortress into the small town of Lavendel.
Dude.
Now, this...
Look at this, man. Also, I wonder
it
if
used
this
to
is
be a
Andraste
beautiful
or something else, you know?
place full of life, flowers, and you can see what effect the blight has had. But the residents are still here. They're trying to make the most of their lives, and you can see there's plenty of opportunities to help them. In fact,
yeah, I do hope we get to like talk to more
we're going to
NPCs,
quickly check in with,
because when we talk to him, you know, it's like,
so Flynn again.
Like Flynn is just like, okay, we talk to him. He says, hey, yo, can you get some items for me? And then that's it. Which is fine, you know, but I do wish there was more
Content of Dragon Age: The Veilguard felt as meaningful and tied to the overall conflict of the game as...
I'll head out. No, it's cool, Jeffrey Natal. Thank you for like joining for as long as you wanted, okay? I appreciate anyone who like comes here and just like watches the stream with me, you know. There's a few more points to go over, then I'll head out soon as well. One thing I want to do, just to anticipate some criticism, is I think some people will be like, oh, do you mean like bad quest design or something like that, or like how is this thing connected? Because we just talked to the guy immediately, right? I think one thing that like they forget is that Origins also had a lot of quests like that. Literally in Lothlorien, one of the first quests you have is giving a woman like 10 poultices, right? Like 10 healing items, right? And like I don't think that's a bad quest at all, you know? Like quests where you just help people like do mundane tasks is still a good thing, because what it does is like you can see the world when it's just like doing mundane things, but also then when you see the world in much more dire situations and have quests that are a lot more like high production, I guess, it feels a lot more weighty, you know?
As anything else you do, we don't want to...
Also, just look at this. I love just the contrast of like the wooden buildings with the sort of like Grey Warden
against the Elven
architecture,
God,
where all of it is made of stone and whatnot, you know? I absolutely adore it, you know? Also, again, look at this armor, dude. I absolutely adore it. Looks amazing.
but we're...
I love the sort of like flesh aspect here. Annabelle Ashtown says, I'm sure people who complained that this game doesn't look dark fantasy will complain it's too grey and gloomy now. Yeah, man. They'll probably say like, hey, did you know that Origins also had color? I'm like, okay, sure, man. Oh, dude, I absolutely love this, you know.
It's the blight.
This really is like such a beautiful game, you know, and such a well-conceived game. Also, quick thing, because I think,
as mentioned before, the Wardens understand it's changed. It's become a lot more
organic. This like slug thing?
A lot more alive. You back in Dragon Age 2, Inquisition, Origins, the Blight, while it was a slow-moving wall, it didn't have this almost sentience, this almost thought behind it. And obviously, we've talked about how the gods that are out are blighted. That probably has something to do with it.
No, they'll complain it's purple. Yeah, they'll still complain it's purple, okay? Maybe that's what they're going to do, okay? You can show them, like, this 20-minute gameplay video, which is literally just, like, about the Blight, and then they're like, too purple, my guy. Like, okay, sure.
And it's made this area far more dangerous than it would have been before.
Though I do like it, because, like, the implication is that Gillenon is intelligent, is the intelligence behind, the sentience behind the Blight.
The Darkspawn to do her bidding, to suit her purposes.
Yeah, again, like, it's interesting to reiterate that, like, the Blight is is something that is intelligent and is going to, you know, like, it is changed because of Gillenon, right?
So right now you'll see.
Nothing much else other than just gameplay looking like really good, you know. I wonder what difficulty they're playing on though. If they're playing on easy or normal or something like that. Because they said that you can customize the difficulty like in a very extensive manner, but they didn't say like how you can customize the difficulty. Or like no, what I mean is like they didn't say like what difficulty they're playing on for this one as well. Also, like, just a comment again, like, on this open, like, sort of wide area. It's, like, interesting, you know? I like the idea that you have this sort of, like, seamless transition from hub area to outside world. I think it's cool. Because, like, in some parts of Dragon Age, they've had that. In Lothering, the sort of, wilds compared to the, you know, village was just, like, seamless. It was just right there, you know? Obviously for some areas like the Brazilian forest, the Danish camp was, you know, there, but then you can, like, you know, have to go to a loading screen to get to the next area, right? I think that's fine. Also, oh gosh darn it, oh gosh darn it, dude. I forgot to mention this because I thought it was really good. Where is it? Party banter, dude. They have party banter, and we just demonstrated, okay, and they didn't even bring notice to it. Bloody heck. That is terrible, dude. Yeah, like Harding says here. Do Templars really not have authority over mages in Tevinter? What happens if there's blood magic? What do they do? Nev then says, like, depends on the Templars. Depends on who bought them. Why do you, then Harding says, what do you do when the authorities can't be trusted to do the right thing? Oh, gosh darn it, dude. That's how I keep busy. Oh, dude. The banner. Oh, it's rich. It is rich, dude. I love it. I love it. Can we get gameplay view of simply using ability free flow, or do we need to open tab to use each time? No, we can. So I think if I can... so you, Approve was saying, if you can see at the, like, bottom here, right, you can see even, like, with the gameplay, we can't just free flow it. You do have to, like, press a button for the controller, as you can probably see with, where is it? I'll pull, yeah. So you, at the bottom here, you can see that, it's expanded the wheel. And so you'd have to, like, press a button to then use the associated buttons over here, right? Whether to use it for your companions or whether to use your own abilities. Though, like, if you want more of a focus and, like, choosing where your abilities land, you will have to do the, like, tactical pause, right? But you can just, like, free flow it. Okay, so I think one more thing I maybe want to mention before we continue onwards. Like this over here. Like, it seems like they're just, yeah. Use companion abilities with Lyrium Dagger. Companions can be called upon for help via the Lyrium Dagger, even when they're not present in party. So, which is interesting. So you can, like, call your companions and have them help with, like, environmental puzzles and stuff. Like, just like that. Which I think is, like, very interesting, you know. Oh gosh darn it, dude. Absolutely gorgeous game. And yeah, I think that is it. Yeah, there's nothing else then. I've basically, like, gone through this, like, whole thing. I mean, yeah. Oh, well, maybe just quick thing to mention. This revive thing. Like, I think this is cool, you know? So you're not really interrupted too much during the gameplay stuff. But I do wonder, like, if that revive is a one-time use, or if you have to, or it's a cooldown ability where Nev has to, you know, regenerate it. Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyways, this has been a wonderful gameplay showcase, you know. I think this has been really good, you know. I think, like, final thoughts, at least for myself, is that it's a very, it's a very like casual thing, you know. It's not as like exciting or bombastic as the previous like reveals we've gotten, but it's definitely been, how do you say? Oh no, thank you as well, Approving. It's definitely been a lot more like informative on how the gameplay is going to play actually, you know. And I like these kind of things, you know. I like it when you just have gameplay being showcased, and it's just like, yeah, this is just like what the game casually is, you know. You play it, you have some fun, you engage with it. It's like, it's nice, you know. And I think it's something that like, I think it's going to be good for the game in general. Opal says it was pretty cool. Yeah, I do agree. It was pretty cool, you know. But yeah, like nothing else. I think this has been like a wonderful gameplay. I think there was some wonderful insight from Corinne Busche and John Epler. I like the fact that they did confirm that like, hey, these aren't like the new like Redcon Darkspawn designs. These are like just new versions of them, which I think is very important to say. Because like, while I don't necessarily mind the newer Darkspawn designs, I do think it is nice to keep consistency with like the Darkspawn aesthetic overall, like throughout the games, you know. I like the little tease that Cal Shrock's gonna be here. I love the Mage gameplay. The Mage gameplay looks absolutely amazing, you know. Finally, we get some like cool, engaging, vibrant combat. I like the abilities that they showcased. Combat looks good. Banter. It's always been good. It's never been disappointing. And yet again, here we are. Banter, really good, really engaging. Oh, dude, and one thing that I love about like Dragon Age's banter is that like, it's just companions asking questions of other companions. Like Harding just says, do Templars not really have authority over mages in Tevinter? What happens if there's a blood magic? What do you do? And then it's just like, and Nev just like replies in such an amazing way that like describes her character beautifully, dude. Depends on the Templar. Depends on who's bought their loyalty. It's just like, oh, dude. It not only describes her character and like what her thoughts on it, you know, but also describes the sort of position that mages have rule over Tevinter, you know. Templars exist and they do their job, but only to those who bought their loyalty. It's amazing, dude. Cap's Play says, I wish there was less talking over the game play today, so I could hear the game, but I liked what I saw. Yeah. I do hope that maybe Bioware give us a like a gameplay version where we're just, you know, hey, this is just us like playing the game. There's no commentary over it. It's just the game being played, you know. Like that I would appreciate a lot. Oh, and then the next bit is also just like so good for Harding. Then what do you do when the authorities can't be trusted to do the right thing? You know? And it's just like, okay, cool. Conversation back and forth. That's how I keep busy. Dude, that's Nev's character. She's a detective who goes around to Tevinter trying to do her best to make the society better. It's just like, stuff like that is what makes Dragon Age like banter so vivid and so engaging to me. It's companions chatting with each other, and not only that, but it's conversations that are moving forward, you know? You're not on the same topic over and over again. It changes and evolves, right? Like, hey, initial question, Templars, how do they work in Tevinter? Do they not stop blood magic? They do, depending on who bought them. And then, hey, then, you know, how oh boy. And then, like, Harding just says, you know, like, then what can you do when you can't really trust the authorities? And then she says, evolving, that's how I keep busy. It's interesting, you know? Oh, gosh darn it, dude. Such an amazing game, dude. Oh, and also, I just want to say, I love this so much, dude. It is such a beautiful game. But yeah. I think that's everything I want to discuss. It seems like the level caps though is like higher than 30, which is interesting. Oh, do we hold on. I want to see if we can get into maybe like a menu. No, we don't. Okay. We don't get to understand what our Kunari friend's name is. But anyways, that's been the video. I hoped any of you who watched this enjoyed it a lot. I certainly did. I thought this was like a particularly great video. A very nice look into Dragon Age, like Veilguard's like gameplay. Just casually like going through it, you know, having a bit of a time. Oh, it's so beautiful, dude. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching and like watching this with me. It was a joy to read your responses and chats and whatnot. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll just wait a bit just to since there's a bit of a lag between the stream from what you see, from what you hear and see, and what I can see. Progressing says, no wonder Caprina wants to Divinity Reborn. No, yeah, and join the Divinatory cult with Cory. No, yeah, definitely, eh? But yeah. Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching this to me. And this is also going to be a video on my channel as well. If you like this, perhaps liking and subscribing will also be cool. But also, if you thought this was interesting or have any thoughts on the game for yourself, please leave a comment down below. I'd like to hear your comments. So yeah, enjoy.